Welcome everyone to another episode of The Average Desi Joe. Just your regular guy trying to provide you with some tips and do some reviews. Today I'm actually doing something I've never done before. I will be painting these stair risers white. Now this house was built in the 50s, so as you can see these stairs are quite ugly. They're dark, so I'm trying to lighten them up by painting them white. So, I did my research. I've realized that all it takes is maybe like $70, $80 to make this happen. Now, these are obviously 7 steps here, but house is a split. So there's actually 3 other staircases just like that in this house that I will be doing. And hopefully be able to show you what the results look like. Now, before I start, let me show you what products you need to get started. Again, everything is pretty cheap, under 70, $80. In fact, the paint is the most expensive item. And I bought this Valpsar Signature Interior Paint in Prime Ultra White from Lowe's. This was about $40. 120 grit paper, 120 grit sanding block. You need some painter's tape for sure. A foam roller, and some extra rollers here. And some goggles if you have some for your eyes, since you'll be sanding. So all this included was less than $80. Now let me show you one other trick. So we have these staircases. Now there's kids in the house. There's going to be a lot of dust. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this sheet. I got this plastic sheet, and these are like $1 each, and I'm going to cover this whole area up and then sand it, so it's just easier to clean up. Everything is contained. Once I'm done, I'm gonna basically vacuum the area, clean it to paint, and hopefully everything should be good. So let's get started. As you can see, so when we were talking about creating a cocoon, that's what I've done here with this plastic sheet. Simple setup, nothing professional, but the good thing will be is that at least it will contain 80-90% of the dust that will be flying through. Something important with kids and family around. Obviously this is this could be done a little better, but I think this should be good for now. Again, just held it up with some painter's tape, as you can see, on the 4 corners, and we are, I think, as you can see, we're good to go here. Now we're going to start sanding, and then we'll see how it turns out. All right, let's get moving. While I was doing my review about this dual sander and told you about how good it is, let me show you how it actually works. Now, all you do is you buy this, this is a 120 grit sandpaper, and it comes in these sheets. And you simply just add them at the bottom over here. And one cool feature about this sander is that it comes with this kind of a hole digger or something. And you simply press it, and it creates these holes in here. So while you're sanding, it actually absorbs all the dust and puts it in this pouch. So let me show you. Here I am trying to paint my stair risers. So excuse all this, I'm just trying to contain some of the dust because of all the kids around, but simple as switch it on. And as you can see, it works really well, and honestly, there's not that much dust around, so it's actually it's perfect. I really love this thing, and it's great for all kinds of jobs. All right. So I was trying to use this 120 grit sand block to sand the steps, but it was taking too long. So what I have done is actually I pull out my beloved sander. This is the DeWalt, costs like $50 in Home Depot. I have a full review on this in my other videos, so check that one out. But absolutely love this. So let me start sanding the steps here. That's one. Now for the corners, it might be a good idea to use the block. That always helps. And the other thing I forgot to add is goggles. Always wear safety goggles when you're doing this now. Here I was just doing it lightly, so there wasn't that much dust, but going forward, that's what I'll be using. All right, and so let's get started with the rest. All right, guys. So I just finished sanding it. As you can see, the risers have been sanded, so there's a difference between the colors here. So the next part is basically looking identifying any corners, any edges that need to be sanded, and I'm going to use the block this time, and just with my hands just go through it, try to sand out all the corners. And once that is done, I'm going to just take some cleaning liquid, some cleaning supplies, and just basically try to clean all the dust from around here. So that the cleaner it is, the better. Hopefully, the better it'll be once I paint it. Again, this is my first time doing it, so obviously there's some trial and error here. But so far, everything looks good. This cocoon definitely helped. There is dust, but it didn't go as crazy as it would have without this. So once I'm done with the sanding, the cleaning, then comes the part I really dread, which is the taping. This actually takes the longest. As anyone who's ever painted before, this is the toughest part. But hopefully, once this is done, then we can begin the painting process and see how it comes out. All right, so let's start sanding, cleaning, and taping, and then finally painting. All right. All right, so I've sanded it both with the sander and then used the block. Cleaned it twice with some water, with some cleaning, regular roll, and then taped it. Obviously, the taping took the longest, and one of the chores that I hate doing. But anyways, it's done. Hopefully, it's good. Now comes the painting. Obviously, it's a little messy when you're doing it indoors, trying to get the paint out of the can into the tray. But again, I'm going to be using, you need your things you need. You need another paintbrush for the edges. One of the mixers. I love this tool. This is the paint can opener. And then we obviously have the foam roller to paint, and the paint, the ultra white paint that we got from Lowe's. One other thing that I just thought of was I found this cardboard, and basically when I'm going to paint, I'm just going to put this on the step while I paint. That way, like if there's any spill, any drops that happen, they can just fall in there. So let's get started. Very excited so far. Things look good. Hopefully, once the paint goes in, I'm really looking for that quality shine. I don't want this amateurish job. I've put in a lot of effort in here. Sanded it enough. So hopefully, let's see. Let's put a couple of paints in here, a couple of times the white paint, and see how this comes out. All right, let's get started. All right, everybody. Just putting the final touches. Just taking care of the edges. Used the foam roller, of course, to go over it once, and then use the paintbrush to go through the corners. As you can see, the first coat is down. So far, it looks decent. Nothing to complain about. What I like is that it doesn't have that grainy look. I was hoping it would come out smooth. So it looks like the sanding did work. Hopefully once, as with any paint job, once it's done and you pull out the tape, that's when you can really feel the difference and see the difference. So far so good. It looks good so far. So I'm just gonna let it dry for about an hour, and then put another coat and see how that looks. And if it looks good, then I'll leave it. Or if not, then I'll try another one. But just in the meantime, just to keep things dry, as you all know, we basically keep we wrap these up in plastic bags and then reuse it later. So that works. All right. Let's give it an hour and then put on another coat of paint. Alright everyone, so it's been about an hour. Looks like the paint is dry. So the first coat is fine. So I'm going to start with the second one now. Hopefully that's all we'll need. Might need a third coat. Let's see how it goes out. So anyways, start with my brush, and then I'm going to use the roller to kind of even things out. And then let's see how it comes out. Alright, let's get started. Alright, just got finished with the second coat. I have to say it looks pretty good. I don't think we will need a third coat on this. Everything looks very smooth. One thing I did try was, since it's a dark room, just kind of flash the light on it just to see if there's any mistakes, especially right under there, because you might just miss it. But so far, looks good. We'll find out in an hour. We'll take off the tape and we'll see the final product. Really excited, and hopefully it works out. All right. 24 hours later, I've let the paint sit. It looks pretty good. It's all dried. I just want to make sure it's there, because otherwise, if you start pulling out the paint, the tape, sometimes the paint comes out. So I think there's enough time it's been sitting there. Well, let's get started and see what the final product looks like. I'm very excited here. Alright folks, it's been 24 hours since we've done our second coat of painting, and it's finally the unveiling. I've taken off the tape, so if you guys remember what it looks like before, and now the grand unveiling. Alright, yeah, if it's looking great. It's looking great. I have to say, it's looking great. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly here. Basically, to the naked eye, it actually came out pretty well. Now, if I was to do it again, I would. And if this place was a little bit more lighted up, I would definitely put another coat of paint. 2 was good, but I think it needs 3. There are some corners where I missed the sanding. Now, sanding is very important. So if you have to make sure, what I've learned is you have to make sure every little nook and corner is sanded really well. If not, then there are certain patches where you have to go through with a paintbrush, and it doesn't give you that smooth finish. Apart from that, it was quick. The only time it took was for the paint to dry. Otherwise, an easy task. The one thing I would highly recommend, the one thing I realized was, for the edges, it looks much easier on the other YouTube videos and online, but it's actually very hard to get the straight lines, because sometimes when you tear off the tape, some of the paint peels off, and that's obviously because of the sanding issue, but also it just seems like sometimes the paint layers up, so it comes out. So one thing I did was actually tape it again and use a caulk gun, like a white caulk gun, and just caulk it. That way, it gives you a straight line. But otherwise, it worked out pretty well. I'm gonna move on to the second set of stairs that I need to do. But overall, happy with it. So please, I would highly recommend doing it yourself. In the meantime, like my video, comment, and subscribe below. Have a great day.